everyone. How's it going? We had quite a weekend this weekend, didn't we, everyone?
There will be spoilers.
There will be what?
Spoilers.
What?
Spoilers.
What?
Spoilers.
Okay.
Okay. I don't want you to think that there's not going to be spoilers. Everything is spoilerific now. Tuesday.
Yes. Yes.
So if you haven't watched one of the three things, go do that.
Well, if you've watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., then call me and let me know how it is.
All right, we've watched one of the two things.
All right. That's
go watch them.
All right, so I am going to leave our bottom spoiler warning going for a little bit.
Okay.
I might leave that up the whole time. No,
maybe not blinking?
It's a blinking GIF.
You should
I
have
said it that way just for you.
Thank you.
I should have. I got spoilers scrolling across the top. What do you want? Everything, people?
Okay, cool. As long as there's something that says spoilers.
Yeah, no, there is.
So that
constantly,
if anyone's all like,
the word spoilers will be on the screen at all times.
Spoilers.
So this is our first episode of Geekapalooza, because some days we're gonna have too much stuff to talk about, and those days are like a palooza.
Every day of my life is like a palooza.
I haven't even discussed that name with my wife yet. As soon as these mics go dead later, she's going to be like, what the hell kind of name is Geekapalooza?
He's already told me this name.
I did?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yep, because you asked me how to spell it.
I didn't ask you how to spell it. I asked you to verify I was spelling it correctly.
Okay. But, I mean, that right there confirms that you've already mentioned the name to me.
I was merely asking you how to spell something. That didn't necessarily mean that. Shut up. Anywho, yeah, so we're going to cover just a teensy bit of Game of Thrones talk, because just too much happened for us to wait all the way till our pre-Game of Thrones talk on Sunday at 8. It was plug. I need a plug button over here. But yeah, so we're going to do that this Sunday at 8, are we?
You might be starting it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're out.
I have a concert.
Cool.
And then
that
thing.
means that I
should be home before 9, but I don't know if I'm gonna make the pre-gaming.
Okay. All right. Well, then good. Then you should definitely hit on any specific things you want to discuss here. So at first it's going to be that, and then we're going to talk Endgame. Holy guacamole. And then we're going to deal with how Endgame impacts Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
If at all.
Well, no, it is, because to remind us to talk about it later, I read a thing today that said Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was picking up one year from when Coulson goes. So yes, true, Endgame won't, but the snapping happened, and
I guess so. It has to.
So all right, but that's the third topic. For
it's like
Palooza.
Okay, yeah, because I just read something too, just trying like.
Yeah, I'm trying to save most of everything
I really haven't paid attention to anything of it at all because of all the other content they are pouring into my eye and ear holes.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I really do have to schedule my content awareness.
Content awareness.
Hi, Babcha.
Hi, Mom.
You should stick around and learn all about Game of Thrones and all the spoilers that happen. Oh, wait, Babcha, if you're still here, I found a video game that you're going to want to play. Sorry, tangential.
Like,
it's a palooza.
Really?
Yes, because
it's a palooza.
It's just really the way it happened. I think that's going to be a thing now. I need to be able to push a button and Cartoon Palooza flashes up there on the screen. But no, honestly, Babcha, if you're still listening, there's a game called, I don't even know what it's called, but I'll figure it out. It's a game all about flipping houses. And you literally go and you can take out old fixtures in the bathrooms. You can paint the hallways. You can do.
Is it called Mansion?
Did you hear me when I said before? I don't know.
Is it like first
called?
You have to do the matching to earn the stuff to be able to flip out the rooms and stuff?
She has gone beyond my knowledge. Hey, Phone Tagger Work is here. Hello, sir.
I might be currently playing this game right now, Mom.
Oh, really? On your phone?
Yeah, Matchington Mansion.
No. This is a PC game.
Oh.
It's like I saw someone twitching it today.
Oh.
All right, yeah, so the Endgame conversation comes in just a little bit. We want to touch on a little bit of Game of Thrones talk for my lovely wife. So go, you have the floor, my love.
I liked it. I thought the pacing went well. Well, because,
Yeah, no. People...
Look, you know what? In general,
my
content creators are satisfying me. And I really do enjoy just sitting back and relaxing and watching it. And yeah, sometimes something happens and I'm like, nah, that just didn't really do the thing I wanted it to. But HBO and Marvel are kind of doing the things. And so I don't get too nitpicky, and I don't let whatever little things I find ruin the overall. And I certainly don't think that there's a lot of like bad writing. Ooh,
Is that better?
Suddenly got brighter.
That better?
That is much better.
Okay.
So I thought that this longest cinematic or television battle was done well. It's the same director who directed Hard Home and The Battle of the Bastards, so he apparently is their big battle director. And I kind of liked the pacing, and I liked
I absolutely love the pacing. I'm sorry, I don't want to step on you.
No, that's fine, because I did. I thought that they did a great job of building tension when they needed to build tension, and I thought they did a fantastic job of misdirection when we needed misdirection.
Yeah,
and
there were ebbs and flows to it that you needed.
The only thing I do probably agree with is that almost all of our main characters survived.
Yeah,
they probably could have killed more of them, just to give us more tension and start to wonder, like, well, how,
but
like, they have to win this, right?
Yeah.
Well, but other than that, but I love the character so much, so it's like, so they didn't die, and I was kind of happy about that too.
They couldn't have had me on the hook more when the Night King was reaching back for his big sword. At that moment, what I'm saying, I had no hope. I was like, what the hell's gonna happen?
Yeah, like that's what. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like they did a fantastic job with misdirection. But in the very beginning, I loved the fact. I loved the way they built the tension of just them sitting there and staring into the dark, and you were just like, okay, well, what is this gonna start? When's it gonna start? Like, is it starting now? What's happened? All the Dothraki in the front, they're on their horses, and they're just all kind of sitting here, and then the Red Woman rides up out of nowhere, and then she ignites all of their swords. Awesome. The cinematography and the effects of that I thought were fantastic, and it gave that whole feeling of like a lift, of like a,
hey, we got a chance.
Maybe we can do this. And then they ride off into the darkness. Every single one of those lights gets extinguished, and you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna suck. And then a literal wave, it's World War Z, of whites come out of the darkness, and then the race is on. And I enjoyed it. We didn't have a problem with seeing. A lot of people were complaining about the darkness, and I thought that it actually, like, I've definitely watched shows. I've definitely watched HBO shows where I'm like, I don't know what's happening, so hope this is good. But we didn't feel that way on our television.
Not a bit.
So I don't know if, I know some of the online streamers maybe we have been having problems, and that's a bummer. But pick up your brightness. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually was hearing people say that they were worried they were thinking they was getting pixelated because of how hard the servers were probably working with how many people were watching it.
Yeah, but I don't feel like we had any sort of interruption or a problem seeing, which was great. And I did, one of my favorite memes were, we'd like to thank the lighting directors for this episode, and it was like a picture of the dragons, a picture of the Red Woman, and what was the third source of light?
I only saw one where it was the two dragons and the two
dragons and the Red Woman.
Living dragons and the Red Woman.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny.
I love the videos of the people watching the episode, like in bars and everything, and like that communal feel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we only had 3 people watching it, and there was a communal feel. And so as we progress, there's fighting, and they have great plans, and the plans we felt were actually pretty well researched, like the way that they were set up to defend against a siege with the archers, and then they came and they relieved the archers on the wall and had the archers move up. Like, all of those were really well done, and it fairly, as I've heard from people who know, true to historical battle strategies. All
right, just 1 second, I want to interject. What's your view on the Dothraki?
What's my view on the Dothraki?
Yes, what happened there? Because if Red Woman didn't ride up and light up their swords, they had absolutely no reason to be out there. They didn't have dragon glass weapons.
Well, I mean, they were obviously the
is the
first
dragon
line.
is the dragon glass isn't only good backspace. Whites can be killed by regular weapons, right? They can just be hacked up
but they have to be burned to be completely done.
If you run one over and break it into pieces, you're just gonna have an arm.
Yeah.
Okay,
but not all of them were like breaking
that.
into pieces. So like when the Night King showed up and raised all of their dead,
Mm-hmm.
if they hadn't been using dragon glass weapons, he would have re-rose the whites.
Yeah,
because that like he could, if they weren't.
But the whites wouldn't have died; they would still be there. And
they would still be animated.
Yeah,
but like if they were, So yes,
if they were able to be animated, they
would have been animated. So the dragon glass is what gave them the ability to stop their ability to be moving anymore.
And the White Walkers could only be killed by dragon glass or Valyrian.
Valyrian steel.
How do you spell that?
Valyrian steel.
Yeah.
I believe it's Valerian.
Okay, that sounds about right. I've seen it spelled 17 different ways, and I'm a terrible speller.
Maybe it's Valarian.
I tried to put a Q in there at one point, and I was like, this doesn't look right.
That wasn't great. No. So then it's a lot of defending, and people are making heroic moves, and you think like, oh, are they gonna die now? Are they gonna die now? Like every time they showed us a main character, like, are they dying now? Is not Wormtongue? Gosh, you may have me. Grey Worm. Is Grey Worm dying now? Is he dying now? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I totally expected that to die because, I mean, come on, the last episode, you don't talk about your plans after the fight.
Nothing says I'm about to die, then let's live a quiet life after this.
It's one thing to not walk around somber saying, holy crap, we're going to die. It's a whole other thing to be like, hey, when this is all over, beach? No.
Beach somewhere else?
That's too far.
And then they slowed it down once everyone had a feeling of, oh my god, we're not going to make it through this. They slowed the pacing down a little bit. Arya's running through the library, and now it's more of a zombie movie than it is a battle, but that at least slowed it down for us. And it also showed her, like, all of that training she's had, it had been cracked.
It's stuck.
Like, well, yeah, it's stuck, but she was her resolve had cracked a little bit.
Oh, you mean like when she was running around?
Yeah, when she was running around and trying to escape everything, and like that was. But I mean, her reflexes were still there because I mean, when she turns that corner and there was a white right there, and she stabs it up through the look on her face is cool. She knew exactly what she was doing. It was silent, lets it down, and I mean, she gets vomited on by.
Yeah, that was
kind of gross.
She kind of had the look of like, you got 3 inches closer than I thought you would.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes. That was like, oh,
yeah,
nice one. You were quiet. And then when she and the Red Woman and Beric Dondarrion and the Hound get locked into that one room, the Red Woman, apparently her job was to like reinstill her with her oomph. And then she disappears off the radar, and we managed to forget all about her.
She more than disappeared off the radar. She trotted out of there.
She did.
It was like, and at the moment that it happened, it was like, well, she has something really important to do, and just.
And then it was like, and
because it was too much to concentrate
I want to know, like,
on.
maybe was Lyanna Mormont like right after that? Like, I bet they did something. I'll have to go back and check something that like definitely just knocked us out because. Then Lyanna Mormont, who awesome character. She was supposed to be a one and done. It was just supposed to be them showing up at whatever the name of Mormont's castle is, to recruit people to Jon, because he was either King of the North at the time or King of the North, or not. But they were there to recruit, and she was just this badass little girl, and everyone was like, "Yes, my queen." We will follow her. We need more of her. And so they gave her more scenes. So then they gave her this fantastic death. And it was, of course, I wouldn't have ever wanted her to die, but the way she did was absolutely awesome. They had, I'm pretty sure they had one giant. I think it was,
was it the giant from before?
Yeah. Because I think at that point they were only down to the one giant, and he was fighting with the wildlings. And then he was killed and became a white. So he breaks through the door, and everyone's like, "Oh man!" And Lyanna like grabs something, and she just screams at it. It knocks her out of the way, and then she's just like, "Nope, nope.
Not going down this way.
Not today. And it's like picking her up and crushing her. She gets close enough, and I was like, yes, she's gonna stab it in the eye. And then she did. And then it like disintegrates around us. And then she raises later as a white, and it was like, oh, she's not done. So that was,
we're in real trouble now.
So I loved everything about that. I thought that was awesome for her character, to give her that kind of death. And I loved it. And then John comes back on the scene, and it's all about John. We're John. Like, is John gonna do it? John's supposed to be the one. John. And then he's facing off with that dragon, and we're totally like, is he gonna kill this dragon? Is he gonna survive this dragon's ice fire? Like, what's gonna happen? And then we're back near the Weirwood. Bran's doing absolutely nothing, or he's done everything up to that point, which is how everything panned out that way.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he's giving Theon the oomph to go and have his final moment. And then the Night King's walking up on Bran, and I was like, Bran's gonna finally do something. Like, he's gonna pull some knife out or something. And I was like, what is going on? And then from flying behind him came Arya, and we sat up and screamed. I'm so surprised our children did not wake up, because, and let me tell you,
we screamed, yeah,
no, yeah. She dropped that knife and was like, we've seen this move before. And even the Night King, both his hands occupied, was like, what's happening? He was like, well, okay then. I mean, and
he got no dramatic send off either.
I have to say, oh no, because that
explode into glass,
explode into ice. Adam is not a big reactor. Like, he is stone-faced. So when he laughs at something, it's freaking funny. And if he reacts with surprise, it must have been fantastically deceptive, because he tends to see things happening before they're going to happen.
All right.
And I'm just saying, like, because I'm much more in the moment, and I let myself kind of like go with the flow of the show. Like, I want my content to engage me that way. Whereas some people are a little more cerebral, and they're back and they're thinking like, what's going to happen next? Is this, I bet this is going to, there's a little more strategy. And so when all three of us sat up like, what? Holy crap. And then it happened, and we were just,
I was screaming, holy shit.
Yeah. Holy shit. It was great.
Yeah, it was.
It was great.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, it was a good episode.
I'll cover most of my stuff Sunday, since I'll be here on my own.
Probably.
The only thing I have to do is berate Dany for almost getting her dragon killed. For staying on the ground too long. Well, if you're gonna land for a couple seconds, let the dragon catch its breath.
Yes.
Because that dragon's got to breathe, right? That's one of its main points in life.
Dragons got to breathe.
They do have some damn pretty shots. There's going to be some nice artwork coming out of the strafing fire shots.
Oh, and
also above the clouds during the ice fire. So that Night King's a Targaryen, right? You got to say that, right? Because he can fly a dragon, and he can fly and withstand dragon fire.
Sounds like it.
It seems that way.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter.
Well,
he's nothing now.
No. The thing that made me happiest, I think, is that we weren't stuck having to see white giant was bad, but it wasn't like having to see white Hodor.
Oh man,
that would have been too much. That would have been like, yeah. What they put that guy through. The best meme I liked that I saw was it had a picture of Hodor, and above it said "Hold the door, Hodor," and then underneath that it was a sign of Barrack, and it said Barrack barricade, and it had the picture of him like with his hands out, like blocking the hallway.
I love it.
Yeah, I did like that one. There were a couple good ones. I like the Arya Stark like flying through the air with the knife, and they did it in like the Nike symbol, like Michael Jordan getting set up.
Nice.
Hey Lego, how you doing, my man?
Lego.
We were talking Game of Thrones, and we were talking Avengers Endgame. There's going to be spoilers. Oh, spoiler alert! Lots of spoilers. So if you're not prepared for that, you should bail now. But you've been warned.
All right. Yep. So episode was fantastic, and now we have 3 episodes to wrap up the whole series.
And you know what's the most fun? For the finale, we are going to be on vacation in Ocean City. So we're going to hop on with a crappy setup, streaming from my laptop. But we're going to be crazy because we don't have to go to work the next day. Well, she does because she's a stay-at-home mom. And if the kids are going to be there, then she's working. But it's not like, we're all going to be there helping a little bit. So anyway, moving on to Endgame.
All right.
Oh boy, so much satisfaction this weekend from our entertainment.
A lot of satisfaction. You know what I was really satisfied with? How I planned out not to pee. Honestly, I mean, the movie was good, but the feeling at the, I mean, it really was. But at the very end, me like doing that like diagnostic and being like, I do not have to run out of here and pee. I was a little dehydrated the next day.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Maybe that's why you're sick now.
Oh. But no, Good night, Lego.
See you, Lego. Thanks for popping in.
I was satisfied. Of course I've read a lot of articles. Not a lot. I've read like 3.
That's a lot.
I've read a
That's
few.
A fair amount.
From like almost every standpoint. Like, it was great, or I didn't really like this was too much. Or I talked to someone who thought it was too much Captain America in the beginning. Like the pacing in the beginning was slow. And I was like, but they had to continue the fact that like
half of everyone just
this is a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to set the tone, the feel. The biggest gut punch at the beginning was friggin' Hawkeye.
Man, and I knew it was coming. As soon as they show everything, I went, oh man. And it was great because instead of showing them dusting, they just showed like a little sprinkle in the air floating around.
Hey, Will, how's it going? All ready for Friday, Will? You're going to be right back here, sitting right back here next to me, behind me, sitting next to me. I don't know, Mike's got some kind of weird plan. Friday, sorry, jumping all over the place. But Friday, I'm going to be hosting my brother and 2 of our friends, George Mobile Geezer and Will D. Here, talk about technology. Technology. It sounds like a person. Well, do you not want to eat on camera? There we go. So Friday Night Tech here live from the abode, and George is going to be here in person. That's why Will's coming over. It's going to be awesome. Having all 4 of us in the same room, it's going to get crazy. Anyway, so back to Endgame. I don't understand how you can well, all right, yeah, because you wanted the whole thing to be a big giant fight the whole time. That's how you can complain about the pacing at the beginning. But
I guess so, but I definitely didn't want that.
No.
Like I wasn't going for a Game of Thrones-esque battle.
Yep.
I like the misdirection of, Thanos was going to be killed in the first whatever, and that it was it was more of a revenge thing. Like that was out of anger, but it was.
Wait, the first time they killed him, that was revenge?
He didn't have the stones anymore.
No.
Yeah, Thor clearly cut his head off, and there was no.
He listened to directions given to him by a Titan. All right, so
go for the head.
Yeah,
But yeah, they felt powerless, and for superheroes to feel powerless, that was that kind of informed all of the 5 years of.
And if Thor needed to freak out that way for us to get Fat Thor so that I could cosplay him in the future, then so be it. Because this dude is dressing up as Fat Thor. I never thought I'd cosplay, but I'm sure going to do that. Get to walk around in PJs and Crocs.
Oh, man.
Come on.
Well, he had like a hoodie on and a robe.
Yeah. I'll only have one because it'll get too warm.
Yeah, no, it's okay, though.
I'm honestly fat. I'm not fake prosthetic fat.
It's got to be warm inside those prosthetics, though.
Yeah, screw him. He's so thin.
I didn't mind the pacing. I felt like it got us ready for the upswing of hope, and we have a chance to fix this, and so like let's do this.
Huzzah.
I think I liked the fact that it was kind of a heist movie. I love heist movies, and that's really what it was. Like
at the beginning, that middle segment, I guess, was
it was like a heist movie. And that's I think what I liked the pacing in the movie is it was like 3
different
distinct
movies.
Yeah, well, it was like 3 distinct phases. There was the life after the snap, which I I love
I want to see
movies
more
like
of that.
that. Like I'd love to see more of that of life during those 5 years and how the planet like deals with half of its population just being gone.
Yeah, I want a Marvel-based show of that with like no superheroes, just all humans dealing with their half their family coming back after them being gone for 5 years. We got
It's
2
almost
kids.
like they have a show on right now that's Marvel based and not.
Yeah.
I mean, this ties into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. talk, but I wish that show would do more of that, and I feel like because they took that other direction so that they would have their own plot lines and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I miss the fact that they had a vehicle to show us the fallout from the big things. And so
yeah, because it was awesome season 1.
Yeah,
when they had the fallout from Winter Soldier, it was fantastic.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I would have loved to see this season be the fallout from Endgame during those years, and then, or like the first half of the season, and then the second half of the season be after the 5 years and after the big Thanos fight, and with the recurrence of everyone.
They do often do like but no, this season's only like 13
episodes. Yeah.
So
anyway, so yeah, the second section was the time heist, and that allowed them to timing.
She does. Do you want to take that? And no, all right. We're sending her away via watch.
Sorry,
we sent her away. She called Sunday like 10 minutes.
10 minutes into Game of Thrones. I was.
What are you doing?
I was so discombobulated because we were like zoned in, and I was like, I'm watching Game of Thrones. I'm sorry. She's like, okay, I'll talk to you later. I was like, oh no.
It had a slight tone of, what the hell are you doing, woman? Don't you have any pop culture knowledge of what things are like?
I didn't mean to. I was all settled down, and I was sorry.
Hey, Alan,
Mom.
if you're still here, you got any questions, let me know.
So yeah, the time heist section I really liked, because then that also allowed us to get more of the past that we loved, or even of the past. It was we were listening to Kevin Smith, who used the phrase fan service 25 times in the space of 10 minutes.
So.
And he did. Like, it was rightfully so. There was a lot of just little gems sprinkled throughout of like, you remember this, and do you remember her, what this was from, and they were the good gems. But he pointed out, and what I really loved about it was all of the Asgard stuff was from Thor 2, which was not the most shining jewel of the MCU, but what they did with that part was beautiful, because we got to see Fricka again, and
that name.
and Thor needed some rebalancing. Like, he really did need motherly advice, and she was able to give that to him without breaking time, because she was like, raised by witches. It's cool.
We know this kind of stuff. It's
cool,
all
baby
good.
doll.
And he's like, but Mom, I gotta tell you, it's okay, don't worry.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll be dead anytime now.
I'm making all of the noises.
She really is making all the noises.
Of them.
It's cool. Our mics are pretty good.
And
probably
then the third act was, bang bang, shoot 'em up.
Wait. Step back to the second act there. I love the moment when they all came back and they were like, it worked?
No.
It's a good thing no one died at all. Wait, who? What?
Hawkeye, you look stressed. Where's that? Yeah, that was sad. But...
And, you know what else was cool about that? The fact that Nebula could not... could be blocked from going back and then go back later and no one know, because it was a time thing anyway.
Yep.
And
yeah, that's how I had the same thought. I'm like, well, aren't they gonna know that she's not with them? But then everyone showed back up at the same time, and I will say I really liked how they treated time travel, and I really liked how they explained. All
right, she's getting more stuff. So
sorry. Apparently my mailbox is full.
Nice. If you deleted voicemails.
I do. I thought I did.
Who the hell gets voicemails anymore anyway?
Anyone knows anyone over the age of 45, 50? 50, I guess.
Yeah. Shh, come on. What are you doing? Now they can hack my accounts everywhere if they know my birthday. Anyway.
What was I saying?
So,
Time travel. I liked how they dealt with it. I liked how they said that you can't go back in time and affect the past because that's your future. Like you're experiencing the past as you in the present. Like everyone experiences time in a linear fashion, no matter where you are
I
in
love
the
this
timeline.
look I'm giving her
I
now.
know, it's really ridiculous. But if you think about it, like
no, yeah,
it's a
go back
personal
to that
thing
that the Hulk said. If you go back to the past, it's your future.
Yeah.
Whose future?
Yours. So like right now, okay, so we're here in the present. I mean, it's always the present.
Soon.
It's always we're here in the present.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And 10 minutes ago or however many minutes ago, my phone rang and made sounds, and I wanted that not to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 minutes in the future, 10 minutes in the future, we invent a time machine. And we can go into
wow,
it.
10 minutes. I'm gonna get busy. Binder clips together. Check.
MacGyver this out, honey.
Yes.
Come on.
I need some duct tape.
We need
Where's
chewing
the duct
gum?
tape? All right.
And so then we create a time machine so that we can go back in time to when right before my phone was gonna go off.
Right. Okay.
That moment, 10 minutes from now, when we go back in time, is still in our future.
Right.
So
okay.
even though we go back in time, it's our future.
Okay.
Blink, blink.
Yeah.
And you're experiencing it in the future from now.
I'm experiencing it in the future from now.
Yes. So then I go back in time and I turn my phone off.
Uh-huh.
That becomes another timeline.
Yes.
Splits off.
Yes.
My phone is off. And then we come back to our time. But we're still in the timeline where my phone went off. And that's why we created a time machine and went back in time.
Right.
The timeline where I turned my phone off.
Cool.
Our other Christina and Adam.
See, yeah, all right. That the way you explained it there with all the other stuff helping, I understood. When Hulk was saying when you go back and that's your future, to me it was him saying like the future self that was that future. We're just gonna leave it there. Wibbly wobbly.
I know.
Timey-wimey.
I don't know why, but I have an affinity for time travel movies and for thinking about time travel. Like it makes a little bit of sense to me, and I like observing time travel movies and how they treat, like, what their rules for time travel are. Like Back to the Future, the rules were you affected your past, it changed your present and future.
Right. And
everything changed, faded in, faded out, people disappeared, whatever. And I like seeing that, like, what are the set of rules? And I think that, in the shows we watch, it's easy to kind of say, like, they often will state them for us because the audience needs to know, like, what are we dealing with?
They need that exposition.
Or they will, they'll discover them, just like Back to the Future did. They discovered the rules, and then they had to go back and fix them.
I do like the multiple timeline theory of time travel.
Yes.
I abide by that, not the Back to the Future POS one.
That's why the plan they had to include enacting it in their present. Like they could only bring the people back who had been snapped. They couldn't prevent them from being snapped away.
Because they were already snapped.
Yes. And they wouldn't have wanted to go back if they had been not snapped. That's the paradox.
Word.
I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
And I liked how they treated it and how they dealt with it. And, some of the little gems of, we had the Smart Hulk, in that 5 years, Bruce Banner decided, like, let's just merge the two instead of, trying to fight against it.
Yeah, it's a thing out of the comics.
Yeah, and that was I think disconcerting. Smart Hulk was a little disconcerting to me. But it was fun, and I thought it was funny when they went back into the past in New York, and they said, why don't you smash a few things along the way? And he's like, it's a little gratuitous, but okay. And I mean, not even half-hearted smashing. It was like he had like a quarter.
He just picked that motorcycle up and just tossed it a couple feet.
Yeah, no, he was like,
Yeah, I did miss the angry Hulk.
Yeah, the overpowered Hulk, like that something that could bring so much power to the fight. I did kind of miss that, but
at one point I was kind of hoping that he got pissed off again later on in the movie and had to fight Thanos again and was pissed off about Nat.
Yeah.
But instead, he did nothing after undoing the snap.
Well, I mean,
one arm. He's the Hulk. Hulk up. Hey, George, how's it going? Look, we got most of the Friday crew in here. My brother's the only one that's missing. Looking forward to Friday, George. Going to be great. Look, pan the camera around. Look, you're going to be sitting right kind of there. That's going to be your spot, George. Going to be good. Going to be good. Oh, the curtain's open a little bit there. I like how we have that angle of. There we go. Oh no.
It's close enough.
It's fine.
Don't go peeking.
Well, no, this is just for your protection. That's why it's up. Yeah. So for me, they did a perfect job.
Perfect George.
A perfect George.
Did a perfect job.
Yeah, it was super satisfying. And let me tell you, I'm here for Rhodey telling them how he wants to garrote a baby Thanos. I love that scene so much because he's got the long fingers and the knobby knuckle finger things, and just the play that he did with the garroting him. It was great. And people are all disgusted. And it's like, it's Thanos, but it's a baby. And they managed to work a hot tub time machine in there, and I didn't know, but Sebastian Stan was in that.
I was wondering if one of them had been in that.
Yeah. So unfortunately, he had been snapped. It would have been cool if he hadn't, and they just could have kind of turned and looked at him for a second.
That would have been a little too on the nose.
It would have been.
Yeah. I thought that it was very, very well done. There are little nitpicky things like in the fight.
Oh, nitpicky! I haven't heard any of these, folks.
No, it wasn't even a lot of stuff.
Buckle up, spoilers, nitpicky spoilers. George is excited for Friday.
I was excited when Captain Marvel came on the scene and just took the thing. They're like, what are they shooting at? I'm like, oh, they're shooting at her. They're shooting at her. She's got a wreck shop. And then she did, like, entire thing. Boom.
Yeah, it just flew right through it.
That's why I was a little disturbed when she had the gauntlet and she had to get it across the thing into the tunnel. And they asked, how is she going to get there? And I was like, she's gonna fly because she just flew through a ship.
All right,
she's gonna fly and she's gonna make it because she's Captain Marvel. And so, but they did that to give us this, and I am going to say it. I think I do agree with it because I can feel it inside, and I don't want to feel this way, but I do. But all of the female heroines lining up next to her was a gratuitous shot. Like, I would have just liked to see the female heroines kicking ass, taking names. Yeah. I don't feel like they needed to like create this female heroine cocoon around Captain Marvel because she was Captain Marvel, and that's, I don't know, like that kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way.
So if it had been Okoye that had the gauntlet trying to get through and Captain Marvel was somewhere else fighting 15 other people,
yes,
then it wouldn't have seemed gratuitous.
Did something similar to that in Infinity War when Scarlet Witch was facing off against what's her face, and she said, "You're gonna die here alone," and Black Widow said, "But she's not alone." And then two badass women came, and then they all beat her up together. Like, that's female power. We watched them. Yeah,
that was a 2-on-1 and like much more realistic, and the number of characters involved.
Yeah. But yeah, if a lesser powered heroine had needed to get across the field and they all came like banded around her, it probably would have felt like, yeah, look at that female power. But the fact that they had to do it around Captain Marvel, like, that made no sense to me.
Here's one of my thoughts. Maybe because she was carrying all the stones, she couldn't use all her power because it might have gotten wishy-washy weirdo with the power of the stones. I don't know. I'm trying. Going back to that thing, the girl power scene from Infinity War, it still freaks me out. The line that you quoted from Black Widow, when she does that, when they did the ADR, it sounded like they were.
It sounded like she was in her ear.
Yes,
but she's not alone.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, it really did. That's feel exactly that what it's like.
I was like, and it was like, and then there's an entire battle raging around them. Like, she wouldn't have sounded that close in, but whatever. It was badass. And I kind of
it was totally badass, and I love that fight.
I mean, and they. And in that the powerful heroines had great scenes, like Scarlet Witch went right up against Thanos and made him look worried. Like, those are things that I do want to see, like, because she's an incredibly powerful superhero, and she got to show her stuff and she was angry. So like those are things
she was angry.
that I
everyone
did
else gets to come back but my guy.
Well, Gamora.
Well,
but a version of Gamora.
All right, let's jump right to that, because personally I'm happy with the way that worked out, because now Peter Quill gets his comeuppance for being a jerk and smashing Mantis's hand and causing all these problems in Infinity War. Now he has to get Gamora to fall in love with him again. So he got what he deserved, in my view.
Nice.
Maybe even he needs a little bit more. Maybe Gamora needs to fall in love with Rocket first.
Or Fat Thor.
Oh yeah, she was like, his muscles look like steel fibers of.
Oh yeah. So I did enjoyed it. I mean, I got to the end of those 3 hours and I was like, yeah, I think that was a good send off. I'm so happy that Captain America got to go back. Steve Rogers got to go back and spend a long life with the love of his life. Long love of his life. Oh, he has a thought. 1 second. Let's go to the thought. The thought.
So if she falls in love with Fat Thor, then that means I would have a chance with.
And back to what I was saying.
Yes, him getting happy ever after with Peggy was fantastic.
And Falcon got the gauntlet passed to him.
What
was a shield pass?
Yeah, but gauntlet, and that was funny. Did you know Spock's brain?
So sorry about that.
Well, no, I didn't know if this was a Spock's brain.
No. Gauntlet, okay. I got
okay.
That one I was on purpose, but
yeah, that was plenty awesome.
That was plenty awesome.
Yeah.
It was just enough awesome.
I loved how they made it obvious that like him and Bucky must have discussed it beforehand.
Yeah.
Because how when he came back, Bucky told Falcon to go up there first, just like.
And because Bucky said goodbye to him. And the other ones were like,
I didn't even pick up on that.
No, I definitely picked up. I'm like, well, I mean, more of I'm just popping back in time for 5 seconds.
By that time in the movie, I was like, just brain oozing out of my face. It was overwhelming.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I do think the pinnacle moment of that movie for me was Captain America wielding the hammer.
Yes, I did fly right by that in the thing.
You did.
That was
there's so much to
there is
hit
so
on.
much to hit on. Yeah, and that was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome.
The way he fought with that hammer, I believe that every night he snuck into Thor's room when they all lived together in Avengers Tower and took the hammer out with him and practiced with it.
Yeah, and
because Jesus, all the stuff he was doing.
That scene where they were like trying to pick it up, he was just like joking around.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, I can't. I can move it a little bit." Oh, yeah. He was like, "I'm practicing with this every night. You guys suck."
He's walking away. The hammer starts going.
That's why Thor was like, "I knew it."
Yeah. But I mean, when he did that maneuver, I don't even remember exactly how it went, but he like threw the shield behind him and then hit it with the hammer, and somehow they both came back. I'm like, what's the physics of that?
Shh, superhero physics. Yeah. I that was awesome. That was awesome. That
sure was.
Dynamics were.
And the dance with Peggy made the circle feel completed.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Whenever any of them, especially the original Avengers, fought together. Like those were always they did such a phenomenal job of choreographing that. Even from the very first one when they started to fight in New York together, and who had someone shot Captain America's shield and he like
Iron Man,
and then they did it again in Avengers.
Made it look like they
Ultron.
practiced.
It did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always love when they combine their talents and fight, because that just it gives it that and the score behind it is all.
I can't remember. I've been watching so much stuff. Did they reuse that glamour shot of circling around them all from Avengers 1?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How did they work that in though? Like I can't remember.
It was like they went back in time and they're like, all right, it's 2016 or whatever, or 2014, and they're like, this is what's going on.
This shot's too good to not show again.
They show that, and then they show the Hulk going crazy, and then they show the alleyway where they showed up in. So it was like, here we are. We're establishing the scene. Yeah,
we could have came in the suburbs, but why not? We'll put us down right in the middle.
No time to come in on the suburbs when there's aliens pouring in. The bridges are gonna be nuts.
That's true.
So, and then they killed Iron Man, and I feel like that was right. I felt like that was right for the movie.
Yeah, that was I
mean,
thought it was going to be Cap.
A lot of people did because they said this was it. Like Chris Evans hung up the shield, he was done. This is his last movie.
Effectively
and
they did kill him because they made him super old.
Yeah, but he got to finally live his missing
Yeah, they made it
years.
clear that he won't be helping.
No, yeah. But I as much as I absolutely loved Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, because he really was Iron Man. I thought that was, it made sense. It made sense for how hard, because it was his hubris and passion that drove the Avengers. It was Cap's guidance that led them, but it was Iron Man that drove them. The need for having this protection or creating the bad guy.
Ultron.
Yeah, or creating the bad guy that they needed to destroy. But he constantly felt the weight of the responsibility of everyone. He was the I mean, just a little bit of a crossover. He was the Michael Burnham of the Avengers.
Wow.
A little bit. If you're a Discovery fan, you'll get that. He constantly was racked with guilt, and that drove him to make horrible decisions. Like he was a flawed human being. But to be able to have the ultimate like saving move and to win the fight for them, I thought was perfect for him. And while it was very sad for Pepper and Morgan and loved him, I thought that it felt right in the.
Can you fight guys like Thanos? No. Sorry, George. George said he's, hey, I'm super old and can still fight. It's not impossible. Well, he's older. Isn't he like 120 at this point or something? Or 100?
He's been like 90 years in the ice.
He didn't spend 90 years.
70 years in the ice.
Yeah, I think he's about 100 years old. Because that's how old Bucky was in Black Panther.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, but he does have super serum, so maybe he could do some stuff.
Probably, but let the man enjoy it.
He's probably out of practice.
Yeah.
All right. So, I have a question. Since you got such a good handle on the time travel and everything, are they living? Is what we saw at the end there an alternate timeline, or had Cap always gone back and lived with Peggy? Because one of those two things has to be true.
Yes.
So Cap always went back and lived with Peggy. So is the man that Peggy had gotten married to
Captain America?
Yeah.
He had to have been for this timeline to be the same one. So now I got to go back and reevaluate all of the scenes with old Peggy and Captain America and see how she talks.
Well, there's just the one, right? In Winter Soldier? Civil War, because in Winter Soldier he meets her. No, she dies in Civil War. It was Winter Soldier when he goes to the
yeah. Sorry.
Word. Yeah. So, but it was great because as soon as when he ducked in the 70s shot, into that office there, they had the ardor part of her name in the thing when it closed, and I was like, oh, I know where he ducked into, because there's zero chance he ducks in somewhere and they go to a shot of him inside that place and it not be something. And I was like, is the S.H.I.E.L.D. place? What's it? Oh, it's gonna be her.
Yeah, all of the.
And when they had that scene, it was like, if he doesn't die, he's going back in time and staying there.
Yeah, and
he should have. He did a good job. I see people berating Captain America online that's not the way he'd go. That he would go back into the past there and let all the bad things happen that happened. And it's like, well, what do you know? He went back into the past and he stopped 17 bad things that happened that we didn't even know about because he stopped them. Was in his timeline.
Yeah,
17 other bad things happened. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. If 2014 Thanos goes to the future and dies, how does all of this get set up?
12.
So for the rules of this time travel to work,
They are already on an alternate timeline as soon as he jumps into the future.
Jumped into the future. That was an alternate. Like, I'd have to. I mean, it's a good question, and I'd have to have a better brain because apparently I hit a wall like 2 minutes ago.
No, it is all that. There's all these different branch points, and it's just the branch point that we experience via the movies.
Yes,
is the one where Thanos jumps into the future, and he never.
It's an alternate Thanos.
Yeah.
That comes to the future. It's not the Thanos that went along his regular plan and affected them. Like, there's two Thanoses. And that's the thing with time. Like, the timelines, I think, can kind of interact. It's just our personal timelines are linear.
Right.
And so Thanos's personal timeline, the one that they killed in the very beginning, was the one that marched through his plan, got all the stones, wreaked havoc in Infinity War, and then destroyed the stones, and then was beheaded by Thor. And then there's an alternate timeline Thanos that encounters them stealing the stones, goes to the future, and then gets killed again. Gets killed.
Yeah, so there's a timeline where
then
Thanos just winks out of existence
and never comes back. So the stones are never found, and like that timeline is just hunky-dory. But that Thanos came into our future, or into his future.
Ba-boom.
Yeah, it was very like time. Like, that's why I like time travel, because
and it's why I hate it. Also,
it's almost hard. It's almost impossible to use the right words because there's like pronouns and there's time. The past and present and future verse of things don't work. Like, verbs don't work right. But it's like, if I had diagrams, they don't work right. If I had diagrams but you have to kind of think about how we experience time, because that's the only really like linearness to it.
On my side.
I have one more thing. Iron Man's funeral.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the sadness, but I'm like heart swelling,
reveling in the death.
And they put the wreath on the water, and in the center of it is the thing that Pepper makes in Iron Man 1 or 2. Yeah, was it 1 or 2? That said proof that Tony Stark does have a heart.
It was 1, because he needed to get that. Like, he went and he put that in himself. Did they take it back out and put it back on that thing?
Yeah.
That was the one that he ends up putting in himself, because Jeff Bridges, Lebowski, stole
Yeah. So that was really neat. And again, callbacks, fan service, little gems. I loved it. And then they turn around and they pan back through everyone who's there, and everyone is by their in their cliques, like original Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, and they're going back and forth, and then somewhere in the back there's this lone teenage kid standing there, and I'm like, cause I'm in the moment, I'm like, oh yeah, and this, here's kind of like the final lineup of everyone, and then I'm like, who the hell is this kid? And I'm like, it like ripped me out, because I was like, what? And then like, oh look, there's Colby Smulders, and then Captain Marvel, oh, Nick Fury's back, yay! Why isn't he standing next to Captain Marvel? I figured they would be talking more. And that was the end of that scene. But like my brother, I turned to my brother, and I'm like, who the heck? And so he whipped his phone out, and he was like, and he goes, Iron Man 3, the kid from the shed, or from the barn. And I was like, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was
cool. Awesome, because that was truly a Tony Stark thing. Like, he would have kept in touch with that kid and followed how he was doing, and probably helped him get whatever education he wanted. And I mean, because that kid helped him through that PTSD period, like more than anything else. And I just thought that was really sweet. That was an awesome little callback to put in there. That's how the end of the movie was so uplifting and made me feel, satisfied.
So was it that kid, or was it Morgan at the end?
Oh, at the end, making the Iron Man suit. That's
for backtracking a little bit. You may have heard that there was no post-credit scenes, but there was a post everything sounder, and that was like metal clanking on metal.
My original thought when I heard it was that it was just a callback to him making the Iron Man suit in the cave, because it was so reverberant, and it was like, bang, bang, bang. Whereas, later fabrication techniques, it's like a machine is creating it, and it's nanobots. So true. Like because it was that clang clang clang, it was very much of a callback to the first suit, and that was kind of my feeling. And then a whole bunch of people were talking about, it was Morgan making one, Pepper making a pot. The Pepper making a suit, and then
why would she need to make a suit? She has a suit.
Yeah, so I don't know. I still felt like it was just
a callback to how it all started.
Yeah, like to the very beginning, because that was it. That was the watching that first movie, and then they announcing like, okay, so here's our grand scheme plan, and me thinking,
this ain't ever gonna work.
They pull this off. Holy moly! That last movie's coming out, and my son would be years old, and I could not fathom having a 10-year-old at the time.
Well, I mean, everyone remembers how good Iron Man was and awesome and with his plan and all, but then it got shaky really quick with the Incredible Hulk movie that came out.
Yeah.
And that like everyone forgets that was part of the MCU stuff, and because there was the post-credit scene there, and
yeah, but they persevered. They found the money,
thankfully.
And then they just kept getting better and better. I mean, there were obviously not everything is going to be perfect, and there were definitely some movies that rank closer to the bottom, but I mean, and fun to just about all of them in the theater. Like they can have my money because they are entertaining.
Oh yeah.
And at least up through this point, I was sold. I was like, no, I got to see this through.
Oh yeah, that was good.
So
I do wish there had been something at the Tony funeral about Nat, or there had been some ceremony for Nat also, because she was an Avenger and she died, and something for
movie.
Vision.
But yeah, no, I
but then again, they probably had something for Vision before, but Nat was freshly dead. Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, so a lot of people berated how she went out, and in my personal opinion, that is the only gripe that they have, because they have many gripes.
Only valid gripe they have?
Yes, the only valid gripe that they have, because they were complaining that it was the trope of a woman has to die to spur men on to go do stuff, and it's like, well, they were going to go and do this anyway. Like, they did everything that they had already set up for. And they were saying that it should have been Hawkeye because of how terrible a person he became after the snap. And it's like, no, Hawkeye has a family that he's trying to get back. Natalie had no one. And even though she was using it at the time, this next thing I want to talk about, to set up Loki and to try and get him to spill his guts, she always wanted to try and undo the bad that she had done in her life earlier. That's what drove her now as a person. That's why she still stayed at the Avengers headquarters trying to run things. That's why she was the force in trying to push this forward, of this being like their insane plan for time travel and everything.
And so I know that there's a lot of talk about gender roles and making sure that things are fair and equal, and I am loving that. I'm loving that these discussions are having, and that representation is getting better. But if you look at who was behind and who was running things, it was Nat, it was Okoye, it was Captain Marvel, like, and I don't know if this is this is probably a stereotype, or maybe it's just, but I think that that's something that is true. Women sometimes tend to be the ones who just continue going. They keep moving forward and just keep going and trying to keep things together and keep things, like, I think that's a bit of our nature. Not all women. There are plenty of men who women do as well. But and sometimes men have that, suffer that attack of guilt and consciousness, like, I wasn't good enough, I couldn't do this,
like
stuff, what happened. And that's what Thor went through. Captain America was leading a group to try and help people digest what was going on, and talk about needing to move forward. But he had obviously stepped away from the role of being a superhero, whereas Natalie was still there, just going, there's still things that need to be protected. I still have to do the job. Like, I can't just stop because we're having a crisis of conscience. And I think that's kind of true. I think that's a lot of that maternal mother thing. Like, we're strong people. We're, women are strong because we have to keep going. Not that men aren't strong. It's just that they tend to carry their guilt and their failure differently. I think that's more of a psychological thing, stereotypical thing, but that's also my opinion.
Yeah, well, I also think, like, I may be way off base here, but Captain America was doing what he was doing because he felt like that's kind of all he could do, because I doubt that there was as much of a need for the Avengers type of power as there was before the snap. And also like I'm certain that if another bad guy came up, that he would have suited back up,
yeah,
and went for it, but he was just doing
walked away from it. He certainly hadn't Thored out. Like, Thor was, he was holding
Tony'd out,
or Tony'd out, yeah, because they were holding their failure in a different way. I mean, we've watched Tony fail over and over again, and he always has emotion about it. Like, that's who they are. And I mean, Thor had a far way to fall. He was a god, and he was so upset of his failure that's why he just kind of went into recluse. No, and also I think that what he was doing was very much a, like, in honor of and a callback to when he met Falcon, because he was running PSD and that way, and I think that was why. I think that was kind of helping.
Yeah, well, I know that I'm going to end up seeing this again in theaters. So in another, like, 2 weeks, probably. I know one of the days when we're on vacation, we'll probably dive back into Endgame again, because hopefully I'll drag my brother to go see it, and then like he can jump in and talk. And our son. Oh yeah, maybe we'll get a 10-year-old's perspective on this. And it's PG-13.
He's got a pretty interesting perspective on things. You should have heard him talking about Fallen Kingdom.
I do look forward to hearing about that, because I did hear that they did some weird stuff with that. Like, it was like 2 different movies, and like whenever they go from, the swerve, like, on the
island to not on the island. But I don't think it was as 2 different movies as well, they were on the island.
Lost World.
That was the one where the T-Rex ended up going to San Francisco.
Okay, all right, yeah, Lost World. I thought you meant the just previous one. Okay. All right, let's dive into our last short topic there. If anyone has anything else Endgame related, of course we don't have all the answers, but we try to come up with stuff, and
I have answers. They just might not be right.
The time travel stuff is the biggest wibbly wobbly mess out there. But so Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we are big fans of that show. If you didn't know, we're upset that Agent Coulson is dead, but we are glad that Clark Gregg is still on the show. Because he's,
because I love me some Clark Gregg.
Oh, really?
Love me some Clark Gregg.
Well, now he's Sarge. Who knows what he's a Sarge of? But yeah, we're gonna save most of our talk about that for next Tuesday, when we have our, like, seasons 1 through 5 recap of just what went on from a very high level. We're not going to dive very deep into that, don't worry. But just hopefully now, with all the Marvel ooh-ha-ha about Endgame, we can get some more viewers for this great show, even though it's probably going to be done.
Bait. Ooh-ha. That's where that was from. I'm like, I gotta pull this out.
Oh boy, she's done. All right, I'll just take the count here. So hopefully we get some more viewers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Wow, she really... All right, we have cut her microphone too, everyone, because she's really lost her mind. Here, look at her go. Look at her go, everyone. All right, well.
I'll eat some chocolate that'll calm me down.
Oh, because that's how that works. Anyway, all right. Now, no, she's really eating. All right. Well, I thought you were joking. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back on May 10th, not this Friday, but the following Friday. So next week we're going to do a full deal on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But all that we know now is that Clark Gregg's still on, playing someone that looks just like Clark Gregg. and Phil Coulson.
And then he goes and tries to kill me.
Yeah, well, you know.
As I'm drinking water. He's playing someone who looks just like Clark Gregg.
And there's some version of aliens in this one. And
yeah, they're supposed to be spread all over the galaxy. Like our team is supposed to be spread all over. Like
I think spread all over the galaxy means most everyone is here, and there's like 3 guys going look for Fitz. Bless you.
I'm so sorry.
I could have reached over there and hit your button. I got it that time. We're gonna need
it off the rails.
We're gonna need a big red easy button here for her to be able to hit.
Really
Maybe I can work on that.
Yeah, but Fitz is like in a thing outside of Saturn. Like, what do you mean they're over the galaxy? They're spread thinly over the solar system, and if that's the case, I mean, when they say all over the galaxy, that makes it sound like they have gone.
Well, maybe Fitz
far away.
We don't know. Maybe not the whole time Fitz was at Saturn. Maybe he got sucked into a wormhole some point. That bald-headed dude, what's his name? That was with him? Enoch. Maybe Enoch wasn't a very good pilot. Maybe Stephen Strange went and sent him off. Oh, he couldn't because he was snapped. It's going to be weird. Like, I don't understand how they're going to have this show where, like, oh, yeah, all the major characters for this show didn't get snapped. Maybe that's why they needed those 2 Fakakta ones on the airplane after they dropped off Coulson. They needed some red shirts.
I hope so. If there is not one scene of anyone dusting, I am going to be disappointed.
They don't need a scene of them dusting, but they need to address it, and they need to...
I want a scene of someone dusting.
All right.
Yes, they need to address it. Like, if they don't even mention it, I might be out because that's ridiculous. You live inside that universe.
So if Mac is going around with a Swiffer and cleaning the tops of all the displays and everything and the computers, that'll be good because he's dusting.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the final broadcast.
But it's Geekapalooza 1. Why did you let me number it?
I didn't let you number it. You didn't ask me if there should be a number. First and last.
Oh, that's so sad.
First and last of its name.
Oh, well. Oh, wait. What? All right. So, wrapping up. Yeah, we got to wrap up because it's late and I'm getting punchy. All right. So, Game of Thrones talk. Sunday 8 p.m. but I don't know how I can do that if she's still going to be out of the house. So Sunday Game of Thrones might be a little closer to 9.
You only have one child,
and she should be asleep by then.
Yes.
Game of Thrones talk 8 p.m. Eastern.
Go.
Yeah. And and Friday night tech talk with me and George Mobile Geezer Hayes and Will D and my brother Simply Your Device on I don't know whose channel. I'll tweet about it.
This is like a couple days away.
Well, I mean, it takes 5 seconds to set the channel thing up, but yeah, and I'm gonna try and maybe do it on my brother's Twitch, maybe get him to get some Twitchy stuff going. But if not, it might be here on this Twitch. No matter what, we have a fun time. My brother has some kind of secret plan for this week where all 4 of us are going to be in the room together. So that's weird. This weekend, secret. I'm probably going to be doing some Minecraft streaming because it's all about Minecraft now because a new version came out. I'm on the 8-bit server. It's a community of Minecrafters that is very nice, and there's like no stealing and no people blowing up your stuff or mucking things up. And then next Tuesday we will talk Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Lord knows what else happens. Look, I didn't even look at my notes for Endgame talk. Hold on 1 second. I just want to make sure. So many cameos. I liked how they had all the cameos of people from the past movies. Tony and Howard seeing each other and talking. That was adorable.
That was cool. Tony giving him father advice.
Yeah, that
was pretty awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
Sorry.
Yeah, do that right in the thing. Got punch of first scene, slow pace. Nebula Brain was a nice way to get Thanos involved. Arya's a badass. Oh no, those are other notes. All right, I think we covered it all. So, from Geekapalooza 1, we thank you for joining us. Next week is, we're going to stick with Geekapalooza, I think, and we'll just have different topics every time, because I think that's a good thing. Maybe we'll just set this up for a podcast. Ooh, maybe I'll finally really export it to a real thing. Anchor.fm has free podcast hosting. We're not getting paid for saying that. Why did I say it then? I don't know. Anyway, all right, everyone.
Kindness of your heart.
Yeah. Thanks so much for stopping by, everyone. And I will talk to you all later. Hit it. Click.